What's going on, guys? Welcome back once again. We've got some big changes here on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Now, it's not any forced changes, any updates from the game, it's purely from advancing within the game itself. Making progress, we've kind of had that as a focus as of late, trying to progress through RP and everything else to unlock more within the game, and we have now done so, and we have now unlocked the Crown Jewel. This of course giving us a whole host of new races, and these being the endurance races. First of all, heading up to the top left of the map, Crown Jewel Sapphire. We've got a 25-mile sprint here across asphalt and gravel, 650 to 850 RP. It looks quite an interesting one. I know a lot of people aren't huge on the gravel races, but I think this could get very interesting with the wide spectrum of cars we can use. Moving up to Crown Jewel Naker here, Bugatti, Lamborghini and a Porsche race, 750 to 950. Again, quite a variety of cars, but it feels like it might be dominated by the Bugattis. Move over to the Crown Jewel Jade, another hypercar supercar race here, minimum XP or RP of 850, so that one there is going to be huge, and it looks to be a race around the whole map. Again, probably another one that's going to be quite weighted towards Bugatti. Move over to the Crown Jewel Amethyst, Ford, Mercedes, AMG race, and I think Nissan as well. Yes, it is 650 to 850 in this one in particular. I think we're going to jump into the Nissan GTR to see how that one is in the game. Next up, we've got the Crown Jewel Amber here, a cross-country race, 450 to 650. We know that Santero buggy is going to be OP for that one, but I think we might use the Range Rover SVR. We'll see how we go. But today we're going to focus in on the one at the south of the map, Crown Jewel Ruby. Minimum is 1975. Very strange to put that in there, but we are ranked 400 to 750. A huge race ahead of us here, 100% asphalt and a 69.5-mile sprint. For it today, our first outing for the endurance races, we are going to jump into the Lamborghini Huracan. We're going to see how we do stack up against the field here and get a feel for these endurance races. We do get a good launch, but that Lotus Evija there absolutely rocketing off the line. Now, we do have slick tyres fitted here. We can see we do have a wet road surface, so we may be dicing with danger here as we do get absolutely rammed from that little Caterham, unsettling us through turn one. Like I mentioned though, we have got slick tyres fitted. We might be, in a gunfight with a knife here. We'll see how we do advance going forward. Fighting our way through the traffic there, sitting in third place currently. It feels like it's going to be a bit of a challenge to close in on that Lotus Evija, and the Aventador also tanking away from us that we've experienced so many times, into a nice tight right-hander here, keeping it tidy. And it looks like that Aventador lighting up its tyres through that little section there. Yeah, like I mentioned there, many times before we've obviously struggled up against Aventadors in the Huracan. We might be at a point in the game that the Huracan is just no longer competitive for us in these races. We might need to replace the Aventador with the Huracan. We make a mess into that tight right-hander. We're up on two wheels there. We've of course set this one up very, very stiff, so it does like to lift the inside wheels, or the outside wheels rather, of a corner there. Yeah, we might be at the point in the game now that the Huracan just isn't enough, and we're going to have to replace it perhaps with an Aventador, maybe even a Ferrari Pista. We'll see how things go going forward. But as we do now settle down into this one, move forward from 3 to 5% of the race, we can see that we are in a bit of clear air here as we do start to rein in the Aventador. A bit of a tighter section. The Huracan, like I mentioned, we've set this one up, it's fantastic at handling, and we have now managed to catch up with the Aventador through the tighter sections. A bit of a straight section here, we can see the Aventador making some ways on the Huracan, but as things start to tighten up once again, we really start to make some ground up on that Aventador. The Huracan handling, I cannot stress enough. The tune that we've set up for this one, it is absolutely unreal through many of these sections here. We can see we managed to clip apexes, stray ourselves out wide, get back onto that next apex as we're a bit loose, a bit untidy coming down through that fast section. We've got a nice tight right-hander here, but we outbrake ourselves, and it feels like the podium, or maybe even first place at this point. Actually, we're in second place, so the Evija we must have passed at some point. It must have went off the track. Okay, I missed that one out. We're actually in second here. I was going to say second place felt like it was slipping away from us, but it seems like it's first place at this point. The Aventador is slipping away from us. We do have some tight sections up ahead, so hopefully we can make some ground up on that Aventador through these tighter sections and try and maybe go a bit defensive and hold it off for the remaining, what's that, 80, almost 80% of this sprint. It is a fantastically long race, and this is something I think the game really needed. Now that we've managed to advance to level 55, we have now managed to get these endurance races, something that I really wanted to see happen. Delighted that we're there. Slightly unfortunate that we're not in a overly competitive car, being the Huracan, as the Aventador has had an issue there. We have in fact clawed back first place. Fantastic to see. Can we go defensive? Can we be clean for the remaining 77% of this race or not? Not the best of entries into that corner there, but we are still in first. We do still have some fresh air between us and the Aventador in second, the Avisia in third. It's going to be interesting to see if it can catch us up, or more than likely how quickly it will catch us up in this race. Unbelievably fast. It's the first experience I've had up against an Avisia. What an unbelievably fast car. Back in through a tighter section here, we can see after a bit of straights, the Aventador straight back on the back end of our Huracan, but like we mentioned, we're in through a tighter section here and we make a horrific error once again. These errors are costing us, guys. The last couple of races we've experienced this as well. These errors I keep making are costing us, as the Avisia, there we go, took to 26%, but that Avisia has clawed back the second place here. We do just narrowly take it back. Well, then we can see onto the motorway section, the freeway section here. There goes that Avisia, there goes second place. Oh, let's strap in. Let's try and tidy this one up. Let's try and catch up with the front pack there. We can see we've got a fair bit of distance to the rest of the pack behind. 30% gone of the sprint so far. And the Aventador must have made another mistake, a fast section of the track or the circuit there, and we have clawed up once again. Yet another mistake there. We really need to start tidying up the racing. Whether it is the endurance, whether it's tiredness, we're only 12 minutes into a race, so I don't really think that's the case. It's perhaps been a little bit more ambitious than what we should be, trying to get that second place from the Aventador. But with it powering away from us, so much left of the sprint. Yes, there's still a chance we can claw back second place. I think first place is well and truly gone. I don't think there's a hope in hell of catching that Avisia should it stay clean, safe, you know, around the rest of the track. I don't think there's much of a chance. But as we do advance forward another 10% or so back into these tighter sections, once again we are catching up with the Aventador. So the AI are doing everything they can to keep us in this race, and we keep screwing it up. But it is a tight section. It does favour the Huracan. We can see the Aventador, for some reason, it's not fantastic through these slower sections. I do feel we are going to maybe advance forward from the Huracan into the Aventador, but we'll see what it's like. Get a good tune on it. Perhaps we can get a better balance with some better top speed and maybe perform better in this endurance race in particular. We'll see how that goes in the coming days. We might jump back into this race in particular with the Aventador, but as it sits just now in the Huracan, it's competitive. This is what I want to see. I want the racing to be as close as this, so we do have a chance. Tight hairpin taking the AI and myself by surprise just there. But like we can see, we are well and truly catching second place. If we can stay clean and tidy through this, then it still does keep us in the chance of having a second place. However, many mistakes we've already made. We're only coming up to halfway through this race. We need to really start to tidy up the racing here, as we do really close in on the Aventador here. These tight sections are very much in our favour. I don't know why that Aventador is struggling so much here, as we can see clipping that inside apex, going wide, and another tight right-hander up ahead here. We know that we're going to close right in on the back of that, just catching that inside curb, unsettling the back end of the Huracan, down into this left hand, right hand up ahead here. Hopefully we can outbrake a little bit more, claw back some more ground rather. We are well and truly right on the back of that Huracan, that Aventador. Let's try and stick it up the inside into this right-hander. We do manage to do so. We do manage to hold off second place. Let's get defensive. Let's keep that Aventador behind. 45% or so left of this race. We can't be overly defensive for almost outbreaking ourselves into that left-hander just there. Oh, it's going to be tight, guys. I don't know how well we're going to cope with defensive racing for the remaining 50% or so of this race, but we are holding our own. We are keeping the Aventador behind. Huracan sliding the back end out there, just managing to catch it before the back end overtook us. Yeah, opening up a little bit of a gap there from third place. Nice tight left-hander here. We know we're better through these turns than the car in third place. Tight right-hander here. Ooh, we went in it just a little bit hot, taking out some of the central shrubbery there. And another tight right-hander here, where we do, once again, make another mistake, taking out the tree, losing all of our momentum, and that Aventador right back on the back end of the Huracan once again. Uphill section here, we know we're not going to be as good as the Aventador. It's got more power than we do, and it's getting the power down better. It is right on our tail. We're literally having to go left, right across the track, or across the road rather, to try and keep it behind us. But very defensive race. It's not going to hold up, I don't feel, for the remaining 45% of this race. It feels it's inevitable, guys. First place is well and truly gone. That Avesia, God knows where it is on the road, but we can't even see it on the minimap. That thing is well and truly gone from us. Can we hold off the Aventador for the remaining 43%? God, it's going to be a tough ask if we can get plenty tight sections, and yes we will, but as we do come through here, ooh, I thought the back end was going from the Huracan there as we just outbrake ourselves into this left-hander, the Huracan keeping the power down, the Huracan just passing us. Oh, we need to tidy up, guys. We really need to tidy up. One thing I will say, these endurance races, absolutely loving the fact that we have got these endurance races once again not tidy through that section of the track, taking the outside while losing all of our momentum. But back to the fact, I am loving the fact that we have now got these endurance races in the game. I spend an incredible, in my opinion, an incredible amount of time actually playing the game, so to have some more meaningful long races, I absolutely love it. Another feather in the cap of Solar Crown. Yes, this is available to all. It's purely through game progression. It's taking me a little bit longer than some. Maybe I play this for 2 or 3 hours every night, give or take. So now we're at 55. Now we've got these endurance races. I'm going to power on with them, get as good as we can, try and set some competitive times. As we do manage to claw back second place from the Aventador, a little bit of rubbing. We'll leave it at rubbing through that little right-hander there, but we do manage to get back second place, and we do have a tight section here where we should be better than the Aventador. Up into the left-hander here, sorry for the delay, I was trying to catch my breath there. Up into the left-hander, the Huracan slightly catching back up with us again. It is a little bit of a straight section, and once again, so unfortunate, we lose the back end on that curb. We do hit the wall, and at this point I would probably say we do surrender second place, probably resign ourselves to third. What we can say at this point, we are well and truly in third. Fourth looks absolutely nowhere near us. From that 60% to this 98% of the sprint, we had a very lonely race. Everything got very straight, everything got very flat, and the Aventador powered away from us. Coming into the last percent of the sprint or so, it does start to get a little bit tighter, but it just, yeah, we just have to resign ourselves to the fact that we're not going to get second place, we're not going to lose third place, fourth place is absolutely nowhere to be seen. For the first endurance, and it was the first attempt of this endurance, I'm actually quite pleased with it. Yes, it wasn't first or second. We took a podium. We took third place there. We set a relative time, 3 minutes 42. So in fact, that Audi R8 Spider only 8 seconds behind. But when we look at the times that are being posted, 38 minutes 42. The first real competitive time, realistically, is 5th place. Probably competitive, around about 32 minutes 54 in that Avesia. It's a hypercar. So I would say that's probably realistic. We look at first to fourth though. I mean, yeah, we know we're playing this on Steam. It's not the most accurate of races with the cheats and, you know, everything else that's going on there. Do we have 4 minutes to make up? I think we can easily make up 4 minutes in that race and, you know, get a real competitive time there. But you look at first to fourth, 54 seconds for a race that took us 38 minutes, down towards fourth place with a 21-minute race. A lot needs to change here. Yes, we're playing it on Steam. It is a big problem on Steam, but I mean, it's so blatantly obvious why this hasn't been patched from the game yet, why they're not getting banned from Steam. I know there's been posts and comments out there that these kind of guys that are using cheats in the game are getting Steam bans, but well, it's quite frank, it's not happening. There's so many every single race that are still using the cheats and aren't getting stream bans. Something needs to change. We want to be able to go over that leaderboard and see how relative our time is, how comparative our time is, how competitive our time is compared to the other players. And all these arseholes that are using these cheats are really ruining what should be fantastic. It is, again, in my opinion, one of the big problems with Test Drive on Steam. But away from the negatives, keeping it as positive as we can, we've got endurance racing here now. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to see these long races. I'm looking forward to doing the Bugatti race around the whole map. I think it's going to be fantastic. Ones that you guys have to look forward to in the coming weeks. All of these endurance races. I'm obviously going to make plenty of content on those. A few other cool ideas lined up, guys, so stay tuned for all further updates that are going to come to you, especially for the rest of this week. As I make a mess of my words to round out today's video. I can only apologise, guys. Before you leave off today, please do give me a little like, subscribe, tap on the bell, all the usual good stuff. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. Let me know what cars you're using for these endurance races. This one in particular, what did you use? Was it a Veja? Was it a Aventador? Huracan? Whatever it was, guys, let me know in the comment section. It's much appreciated if you guys will leave me a comment to round out today's video. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Tune in tomorrow for another update on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.